Mhm. Okay. Mm, we can do, how to say, we continue uh, talking about basic mm, or common uh, path followers of the Shavaka and Pachika Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and 5 paths, 10 bhumis. There are basically, it is not much different. Of course, 5 paths is there is same. There are similarity, each perspective or the respectively. But in the bhumis, they are a little bit different. This maybe we need to more research to check and the how do you say, there's Patrul Rinpoche's commentary. It's talking about the Bodhisattva's path and bhumis. You can to look at the Lotsava's house. You can to download there is. And according that, and here we are talking about the liberation achievement through the Shavaka, liberation achievement through the Pachiki Buddha, and liberation achievement of the liberation through the Bodhisavayanas. Bodhisavayanas, it is a very profound, deep, and it's a achievement is we call the perfect Buddhahood. And then is the first 2 are what is the problems, and it's not a perfect arhat. Like this sort of you need to very important to concern. Generally speaking, we have the vehicles, worldly vehicle, the sources of the good. It's make the rebirth higher animals. Like a human, God, that we a little bit mentioned yesterday, and also that is very important if we follow the like the vehicle of the worldly, I would say, and practice correct view. Practice correct view means they have such a good view for the causalities. Believe like a continuation of the mind, reincarnation, and reborn again, this sort of. And of course, whatever to do, it's like connect to the consister of like a high rebirth, and that is like not enhanced by the compassion or by the emptiness, and of course to practice 10 positive action, to abandon 10 negative actions, and maybe also they can to analyze and also to study, but maybe this capacity is quite very much like a worldly capacity, just concerning high rebirth. When they think is reborn in the human God realms, and that is they think is the liberation. And this is like some general, like a mundane, a lay practitioners has this kind of good heart and says like, yeah, usually I'm come from something else. I'm going to in the samsara. I believe if I do good things, I will receive good. If I do bad things, I will receive bad. That's it. Therefore, I'm abandoned 10 negative action, 10 positive action to collect, and also, how do you say, simulating or like imitating to the others, recite mantra, some prayers, and this sort of, there is some Dharma practitioner kind of, but it's a very much mundane or the lay concerning the self. Destination is also is the higher realms of the human God. And then it's like this is also in order to rebirth higher realms of our human and God realms. Also itself is need some positive actions, 100%. The positive things, of course, to bring the good things, that is obvious. Why I says even the worldly summons and some good person, maybe they haven't got not really Dharma education, but they believe causality and like a kind of the really to change something as much as more positive way and like this. And if you have basically like this in our human societies, there is someone, I don't want to disturb, I want to help to others. And maybe you haven't got any education, Dharma education. Maybe you are not Buddhist, you are not follow up. Even though you can't, maybe you haven't got any notion of how to follow up the liberation path. But it is like there is maybe respect, faith into the causalities. Say, don't do negative things. If you do negative things, maybe result negative. That is obvious. And this kind of person is it's a very easily to become learned, great practitioner, great understanding. Rely on this vehicle of the worldly, and then you can to climb into the supramodern, go beyond the vehicle of the worldly, and then it's like a kind of, we can to say is more the vehicle of more like kind of the liberation. You can to say the lesser vehicle of the liberation of Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, and like a kind of the sources of good it is corresponding the like a liberation consistence. I don't know. You can to say like this, and that is like a more go beyond the worldly. Then we are studying like more reaching to the Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, and like this. And they are like more higher than the modern vehicles. And then they study really like kind of seriously subject matter of the for application mindfulness and for abandonment and 4 feet of miracle powers. And then it's like also they can to study the 3 sections of scriptures, and they like kind of the during the meditations they like kind of rely on the training, discipline training, samadhi training wisdoms, and through the samadhis, and then of course like mind is become more advantageous, and the higher path of the accumulation merit. We talking about the uh, the how do you say, it's like a 4 feet miracle power, and this one is 4 feet miracle power. Then you through the samadhis, and like you can to exercise. The essence is the 4 miracle power is a samadhi. It is the samadhi like a meditation exercise. They are like respectively, maybe in the Mohorom Bachan's book it says respect, effort, settling mind, and analytical wisdom. And it is respectively, you can to say it's like for example, the first is like kind of miracular respect, and then there is effort samadhi. Maybe it is like the settling mind samadhi, and the analytical wisdom samadhis. And through this kind of samadhis powers, and then your mind is very much workable, and the mind is become more and more clearly, and also you can to say it's like some in the maybe supernatural power can occur, and like this. Then in the how we can coming across to the second path, the path of the junction, and it's like a very kind of the easily we have the kind of first, second, third, four, you know. And the first stage, first session you call the and the warmth, and during this warmth you practice. There is the 5 power and 5 strength, and 5 like kind of power and 5 strength, and the 5 power and 5 strength, and the 5 faculties of 5 strength. The Matthew, he said like this. What he said?
5 powers and the 5 strengths.
That's my says. The first, I think, is the 5 faculties and 5 strength. In Tibet, you look at there is Ombo and Top. Ombo is normally on top nga se ombo is faculties. Top nga is like the faculties to develop. Then is the faculties has such a strength, power, and maybe it's the five faculties and the five power. Okay, you can to think, and here is the five faculties. But maybe it's correct. We can to see. Okay, and five faculties is like the faculty of power. I think faculty of the faith, faculty of the diligent, mindfulness, samadhi, and wisdom are the five power and the five strength. Okay, on says the on is like it's okay. Can you searching in the Google? Can you check? Nam shong ko ombo nga sit. Ombo, how to translate it? Okay, power they used. Okay, okay. This I thought it's like tepi ombo said. Tepi on is the top is the strength. Okay, strength. Yes. Okay. The namshong ko ombo nga. Namshong ko. The top is what this says like this. Five power. Okay, we can use five power is become the more developed. Then is the become the strength, and like this, and power of the faith. Okay, maybe it's like faculties. Maybe it's diligent, mindfulness, and samadhi, wisdom are the five power and the five strength. Normally is there's like different, but is I think the base at these five powers, like kind of the faith first, the power of the faith, and maybe it's like developed, and then this faith has become the very much strength to defeat lack of the faith. And diligence is antidote for the laziness, and also it is like the power of the laziness, the power of the diligence diminish the for the laziness in order to practice the samadhis, and also the power of the mindfulness. What you focus on it, you all the times remembers, and if you have the lack of the remembers, and you have a power of the mindfulness, you immediately to remember any kind of the in the samadhi. And then it's like also samadhi. It is maybe is the power of the samadhi. Maybe it is like a accomplishment of the samadhis more powerful, and like this. And then is the wisdoms, discriminating wisdoms. And when you maybe practice a different perspective, characteristics, no, without characteristics, and analytical or focus on, and this is like kind of the enhance corresponding with the wisdom of the like. This is like this kind of the power, and more to develop to strength, and then it's like in the enlightened like a kind of directions into such a kind of the powerful become the strength. Really it's your the salmon. This is fantastic. Then it's a slowly it's a warmth into the your minds. Now it's like my salmon is coding these five powers or the five strengths. It is like kind of such kind of the how do you say developed. And then I think it's corresponding second in the peak. Can you say it's like corresponding the 7 branches of the enlightenment? Maybe we can do too much. It's like talking about give information. I want to say again to talk about this 5 power and 5 strength. And there are the faith, then is diligent, faith, samadhi, wisdom. And that corresponding, it is the in the path of the junction and the first step of the warmth. Normally in the path of the junction has 4 steps: warmth, peak, forbearance, supreme dharma. And these 4 are the branches of the path of the junction. And then it's like why you call the warmth. Warmth is like really your meditation. Maybe it is like make the joke there. It's you establish one pointed mind of the desiralamas. Then it is like a kind of your mind has a warmth. Warmth means, meaning of the warmth, it has more faith, like a kind of your own path, your own meditations. And not only the faith means you trust, you really to understand, like, oh, that is like this. And it's like a kind of, for example, someone says, give you tea and say it is a coffee. But you analyze it, it is tea. And then someone says it is coffee. You argue, no, it's tea, or coffee, or tea. And then finally, it's like you have a definitive, like kind of tea, you realize it. Then others say it's like coffee, you have a confidence. You have really different, I know this is the tea. Then it's like kind of you have a faith and like kind of the trust. And when you are like in the first path during the path of the accumulation merit, you analyze the 4 like application of the mindfulness, the subject matter of the body, feeling, mind, phenomena. You they analyze it and you understand how it is. And according that, what is you need to abandon, what is you need to adopt, what is correct, what is incorrect. You have more discriminating wisdoms. And afterwards, is you have like a kind of logically, you have perfect abandonment, for abandonment. You understand correct, incorrect. Then correct, you are more to develop. When there's not, you try to install your mind. And there's not only install, you develop. Something is like you incorrect to abandon, and also like protections. They never are coming again and incorrect things. Therefore, we say the perfect abandonment means it's like a kind of you abandoned non-virtuous, powerful, perfect, and also to adopt it is correct. What is really, we can to say it's like okay, killing is the negative, incorrect. Saving sentient beings, correct, and it's like this. Then it's like maybe someone says, for example, if you in the like in the our societies, someone's they never study dharma, they don't know the others. Maybe hunter, fishermen, and butchers. You say it's like, hey, don't kill those animals. They have such suffering. Why you do like this? They say maybe laughing, you know. They are vegetable, like kind of what is the problems? They love to do it. It is like this. Then it's like you say it's incorrect. No. This is why I make a joke often to say. In Switzerland, I have one friend before. He has the coffee bar, but inside full of the wall is the animal's head. And then we sometimes chatting like this. Wow, you are scaring. This very nice. Yeah, yes. My family is like kind of the hunting lineages. My grandfathers killed it. My fathers did this. I killed this. Then they we hang this coffee is like more generations. Then he's worried very much. I think my son is not follow up my traditions, and he want to give up hunting things. Then it's like in this case is this is incorrect. Then they cannot abandon. It's like why I need to stop. To kill and then burn like hunting. They kill the animals, burn to in the ancient times in Europe. We can say put in the middle of the people enjoyed. Is now also many like some I'm watching YouTube. They go to some very strange areas, maybe in the far Norway or some in the countryside. There's not much food, and then they're hunting and then they're eating the animals like or sometimes they go to in the empty place alone they're killing and I just it's like how do you say it never ever think it is something incorrect. That is the kind of problems. Then you study very well, then it's a perfect abandonment, then it's reasonable, logical, and like this. For example, we can to say it's like really it's someone's really like a dictator or maybe it's like to torching and killing to others. Maybe this person's to catch, maybe animal. Maybe it's like make the joke. Some hunters or some butchers or like some in our like killers. And this one is like maybe animals. They hunting to us and they catch us, they kill, eating. It's like maybe before it to cutting something. Then it's maybe we are crying and we say we need to dialogue and cannot kill us. Say we can to say, and like this. Then it's like easily afterwards, or you should to abandon to kill. That's true. I have experience. For example, sometimes in many old generations of the Europe, many people say, "Oh, war is not good. War is not good." Like in the now these days, when we see the armies, it's not pleasant. And why? Because that there's a wars. Of course, the armies is very protect your our own country, but wars, and then is. For example, this we receive education first, second world, the first World War, second World War, millions, they're killing each other. Then finally we have the education. We make quite a lot of peace, disagreement, like the agreement, like this. Sometimes without education, it's very difficult. But you have education first and the path of the accumulation. Second, you abandonment, perfect abandonment, And also I'm saying it's like you analyze the first maybe for application mindfulness related to the phenomena. You understand right and wrong. Right is a benefit for you, benefit for others. Wrong is the not benefit you, not benefit for others. You fully realization, fully to understand, then is the virtuous and positive things is automatically you can to do. I say it's like sometimes you understand that you don't need specific times. Oh, now is the time I want to meditate. I want to do practice Dharma. Not. Each moment, even you sleeping, even you are toileting, even you eating, even you conversation, each moment you have these notions. Then it's like a kind of the accumulating your virtues. It's a kind of the then is the perfect abandonment. It's like naturally. You haven't got much education, lack of the understanding what is right and wrong, causalities. then you need to put effort, to push yourself. You should do it, you should do it. And then finally hesitate coming. And sometimes people immediately fed up. Maybe it's like something excitement. Why I need to generate bodhicitta, thinking sentient beings, and prayer, meditate. Not necessary. It's like 10 positive, 10 negative word. It's Buddhist, it's religious, and sometimes like then they give easily. But you really truly to understand it's our reality in the relative realities, then it's like correct things you do automatically, and also incorrectly you avoid automatic. You don't need push. For example, even as like some is like a Buddha's coming to tell to us, oh, you should to do this incorrect things, to kill, stole. Are you really Buddha? Are you telling me like this? No, 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 no. Not necessary. And like a kind of you have definitive, it's like inside your mind. I'm often make the joke, some our students say, it's practice, study, dharma so complicated. Maybe one day we can to give up, maybe we can to enjoy another spiritual path. No chance. That means it's like you have inner understand your own path, your own the like a kind of the what is you are follow, and what you are studying, the meaning of the dharma going inside. Maybe you practice, maybe it's not very much, but when you have notion, based notion inside, and then there's a perfect abandonment, it's naturally occur. That means it's like we are in the middle of the path. And then it's like through these exercises, then is the meditations at the feet of the four miracles. The mind is very much workable. And in the mind, like suddenly something is like negative arise. Maybe someone's punch you. Someone's give you very strong, harsh word. Maybe yours like inner this, the how do you say, volcano of the anger is coming. Oh, and immediately your samadhi, your realization, and that is the my anger. You are like kind of the front of the provocative or some the object. It's making you anger was completely forget it. You watching itself anger, how it is, and it's dharma. It says like this. That moment you controlled and pacified your anger. Anger is like kind of become very funny, and the mind is maybe bang bang bang. It's like so angry, but you are looking at it itself. You never kind of the making problems. Other one is like also maybe continue angry, and we say it's like okay, whatever you say. Do not kill yourself. I'm no problem. Whatever these persons do, it's cannot how to say cannot transparent or the penetrate to you, like the Devadalt, and he came and provoked the Buddha, and very aggressively say. And then Buddha he says like the Devadalt, if someone's give present to you, if you do not accept it, and then is this present, it's yours. Maybe you give ugly present, okay, yours, your ugly present, yours. If you beautiful, it's yours. Like this, today you give me anger present, but I never accepted that. I don't want, and it's you can keep yourself. Yeah, I don't take that. Buddha say, I'm not angry. Like for example, is the Mahatma Gandhi. He came to in England, and then is of course the revolution in India. The British they killed a lot of Indian people, and then finally they decide we should give to freedom, and this according to Mahatma Gandhi. Then it's holy, and then is maybe we can to say a little bit to him. Maybe of course this is like they think is we need education by the priest, and then one priest said, could you please to tell a little bit, forgiveness, to say like this. Then the priest says, Gandhi, it's like our religious perspective, the forgiveness is very important. Then he listen. Finally, what do you mean forgiveness? And then when you have some enemy, some provoke to you, and he said, I haven't got any enemies. What I need to forgiveness. And like in the mind, it's like he is really compassionate to tolerant everything. Then you haven't got anger. Any is like this. And then like this, I don't know what am I talking about. This is like, then the anger is, my meaning is like someone's like kind of disturb you to it, but it doesn't accept, it doesn't hurt into you. And also it's like, for example, I want to say, this light is so beautiful, marvelous. I have very strong desire attachment in order to have this. I'm shaking, mind. And immediately I forget that. And inner my desire attachment and to thinking like this, how it is. And how also go on like this. And then it's like, this one is liberation automatically you control. That is, we can to say some power of the minders and controlling of the minders, and is you can to see the fit of the power of the samadhi, you can to say. But of course in the real explanations, maybe that moment fit means it's like you through your samadhis you can to visit the Buddhas, feel and like kind of vision of the Buddhists, the deities or something very powerful. But that moment, maybe it's also it's our mind is like warmth is coming. Then it's like the like in the how do you say so the enlightened aspect, or it's like the nirvana's aspect. There is the five like the power and the five strength, and such a kind of the faith you have to the like the right and wrong. And also it's like the right to wrong is like a kind of the your own path is a very much diligent. When you take your own path, liberation paths, you have such a devotion, like a trust, faith, enthusiastic, and then you have a diligent. Hey, I want. Why? Maybe it is like, for example, some sick persons. Maybe they got the medicines. Medicines ugly, difficult, not delicious. It's like maybe per day 3 times exactly on times you need to take. But maybe these medicines can cure your sickness. Then the patient is very much diligent. Yeah, I want to take these medicines. I will recover my sickness. And then it's like cannot nobody's disturbed. You have a power, strength, and it's like this. Then it's to be the diligence, and then it's like also it's like mindfulness. I want to say you be in this path, and the power of the mindfulness is like what you need to do, what you in the mind does. For example, it's like you need to take the medicines. Which times, how many, which like kind of combines hot water or with kind of cold water, tune with what tune, everything's the sculpture of the code the by the doctors you have remember. Like this in the liberation path you be there is mindfulness each moment for activities, how you can to like watching, like a kind of the watchful mind is watching in the mind how it's like you can control like this. And then of course your samadhi is also is like more clearly, and they combine this wisdom. Maybe it's like a samadhi wisdom is the shaman, the how to say sheni and lantons coming together. It's like great powerful. Samadhi is like more stable, and then it's like wisdoms to see the like clearly the essential essence nature of the what you are meditate on it. And then this I think is maybe you can to check that this first the say, how do you say, part of the junctions, and the first step of the warmth is the five power of the how do you say, enlightened one, and second is the peak times, I think, the five strength of to practice, and that is maybe we can to research, and this is a little bit we are kind of the common the highway or the path of the, like all it's a how do you say, Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, perfect Bodhisattvas, and this is like a five path. Is like a it doesn't matter. For example, we can to say it's like a principle, the main how they practice. Shavakas main like kind of concerning the Four Noble Truth, absolutely Four Noble Truth based they study this, and then it's according the path like this. Of course, when you think it's like a Four Noble Truth is separation of the for application of the mindfulness, for abandonment, for feet of the power of the miraculous. It's not. They are like inside the Four Noble Truths. And also it is like the five powers of the enlightened, or it's like nirvanas or enlightened. Also it is the path of the Four Noble Truth inside, and also it's like the five strength of the for the enlightened. Also is like this. Then is the Shavaka's principle, like thing about the Four Noble Truth. Four Noble Truth is also connected to the Tripitakas, and of course it's like that is the main, the subject matter of the Four Noble Truth. It is connect the realization dharma of like discipline, samadhi, wisdoms, absolutely connected. The but is like the more is like a connector using basically like kind of the Four Noble Truths, and that is also maybe you need to a little bit to have a notion of the Four Noble Truth. What are they? Okay, you can to say the truth of the suffering, truth of the origination, truth of the like a sensation, truth of the path. That is very easily to say that, but to really to understand, to combine like to the other teachings. For example, like the Four Noble Truth is the unique kind of the frame of the all the Buddha's teaching, and in the inside you can to say it's like the how do you say it, like included sutta and the tantas. For example, in the tantric maybe high teaching, very very high teaching of the Mahayana Yogas, if you can to say is the view of the Gadak, view of the like a kind of the conductor of the teachership, and like a kind of the path of the like two faces, the creation dissolution. For example, creation stages may be more relative truth, dissolution is absolute truth, the alpha purity view is the absolute, and it's like the more like leap over toggle is more the relative, like this. But it's like you when you explain them, finally it's like same as the Patrul Rinpoche says, like true truth is become the merged, the single one pointedness, unification of the true truth, unification of the samsara nirvana, unification of the creation stage, dissolution stage, unification of the alpha purity view, and the leap over like how do you say, the spontaneous presence and the luminosity, everything's, and in the ultimately like this. But in the one you are divided to explain, to like the need to go through the Four Noble Truth. Four Noble Truth is combined to make the true truth. relative truth and absolute truth. Like this, then it's like Shavakas is emphasize, predominate, like the Four Noble Truths. And then, of course, there is like a kind of 16 instantaneous related to the Four Noble Truths. And that is also is like maybe you need the notion of that. The Zoshikechi Chuduse change. Like you can do maybe this I tried the explanation of the what is the Rishi book. You have this, and that is maybe not clearly I did, but maybe you can find very easily. And then through this bit practice like this is roughly maybe it's like this. Okay, we when we practice, okay, I'm practice the Buddha Dharma, but which sort of I'm a follower? Just a lay person and like ordinary practitioners. I believe like causalities. I have faith, but then you're thinking it's just a high rebirth, human and God, or you want to be arhat. Yes, I want to be arhat. Then you are really super modern vehicles. Go beyond the like vehicle of the worldly. Then is you be in the really in the Shavaka, Pachika Buddha and Bodhisattvas vehicles you enjoy. And then you have like a really education and profound deeply. And then it's like you can to say, okay, where am I? I want to more study. And like this. Then it's like the Shavakas like this. The result is the Arhat. Arhat is like also you should to think. For example, this the vehicles like yesterday we talking about entries and view, conduct, and then what it is in the each there's 5, you know. Huh? Meditation. Yes, then this result. Then is the what is the result? Shavaka Pachika Buddhas. Do you have any idea? Huh? Do you have any ideas? Huh? Huh? No, I'm just thinking. Do you, for example, the Zanka Rinpoche or the our like uh, there's 5. Yes, we have this entry point, the view, the meditation, the conduct, and the result of the Shavakayanas. And this is that you have your own book. Look, not necessary to look that, and you can to look your own the 9 vehicles. Okay, that's good. You is like turning there is not very good, and you can to check and like this. Then it's a kind of the we are talking about a little bit entrance. How is the Shavaka's entrance? Yesterday we talking about basically renunciation, and then and this is renunciation, and then it's like more concerning self, and whatever they do, it is like a kind of the consistent of the like a liberation, like lesser vehicles, because they like kind of only the concerning themselves. And then it's like this view is yesterday we mentioned it. And when they analyze the four subject matter of the body, feeling, mind, phenomena, and then it's like they cannot go deeply realization of the emptiness. They like believe there's a true indivisible point, like particles, like this one is like a kind of existence. Then is views like this a little bit. Then is like the meditations, and meditation there is a, we would to say is a, how to say is like a 10 9 like methods, yes. And this one is they are like really to practice. And like you have this how do you say is this says like in terms of the path they like practice both samatha and of course the vipassana and meditation. Karma body means it's like what you are focused on something, you is like calm on that and to burden the mind there. I would to say it's in your body. You analyze this body and your mind is there. Mind is like kind of the to like peacefully, comfortably to settle on it. And also it's like then same times vipassana means it's you analyze this your bodies, like your whole body is like maybe what you need to meditate, but it's essential point of the body. And then it's like maybe they focus on the like indivisible particle, and the one instantaneous the timeless, and they combine that the representative of the body, maybe meditate on it. And then wisdoms is like kind of discovered that this is the like kind of the ultimate, and this is maybe is a like a, how to say, it's a I need to realize that. But that is maybe something existent things you cannot to realize that existent means it's like a kind of unchangeable. And also it's like there's no activities, and therefore and then there are sensations like this mind and phenomena. And like this kind of then both meditations they realize the state of the samatha by the like kind of the abandoning obstacles, and the cultivate the factor conductive to the samadhis, according like they examine this conduct. They like kind of the according the samadhis, like a training discipline. You really to follow up the yesterday we talking about the shavaka, like kind of the conduct is really follow up the fantastically. They like kind of the have perfect. And then it's like coding that. Then there's the 9 stage of the resting the mind, and so on. So the 9 stage of resting the mind. This is the very important. Got this true 9 stage of the mind. 9 stage of you have in your book, yes. And I think it's a 9 stage of resting the mind, resting the mind, rested the mind, then generate wisdom of the vipassana means is like kind of on there is how it is like kind of. And then it's 16 aspect of the 4 truth. That is, I may say, is like according the 4 noble truths. And then it's like there is the 16 aspect of the 4 noble truths. And this one is in the Rishi books. There is a kind of aspect. And like this. Then that is like, how do you say, how they meditate. And this is a meditation, yes. Okay. meditations, how they meditate. Maybe we can do a little bit say it's like more, and they principally they like analyze the Four Noble Truths. Of course, it is the coding the path, and then it's like they at the first time is to thinking about the four subject matter. As this four subject matter is the four application mind, four application of the mindfulness. It's there are what are they? Body, feeling, mind, and the phenomena. And then it's like to meditate on it. What they need to discover. Maybe it is like generally speaking, in the Buddha's all the times teaching is the non-existent or like kind of the nature of the emptiness. It is like this body, contaminated body, need to go beyond to find the uncontaminated body. This is the nature body. And also the feeling, contaminate feelings. And when we analyze, we need to find the uncontaminated, like a kind of the no contaminated feeling. It is not kind of go beyond the like contaminate feelings and the nature of the feeling. And also the mind phenomena, absolutely same. Therefore, it is like they are meditate on it. Then it's like vipat, like kind of the samantha. Samantha means it's like one is focused on it. The mind is not running around. It's just what you analyze or the focus on, and then you discovered something, no existence of the body, feeling, mind. Then that is meditate. And this perspective, you have one the very important point. You know, for example, Mahayanas, they focus on the founder itself. Maybe it is like maybe more like a Shavaka Pachika Buddha or the like a lesser Vikas is the mindfulness, the empty nature of the body, speech, mind. Like this. For example, if I'm says maybe a little bit, if you need to check, okay, correct. If I'm look at this mandalas, and this mandala is like I analyze, at like this is a rainbow. I understood the emptiness of the mandala. And then I suggest the emptiness of mandala, emptiness mandala. Then this is applied to the all the phenomena. Oh yes, doesn't matter body, feeling, mind, like phenomena also empty, same as the mandalas. Then you like to meditate the object of this phenomena, emptiness, and of course you realize that really if someone says this mandala, this house, this mountains existence, maybe you are laugh, and because you have the notion, understanding of existence. But then it's only this one you like mindfully to holding, maybe it's not very much benefit, I don't know, but then it's like maybe not to turn inward. It is like, and then it's Mahayanas, maybe to turn inward, who is the founder of the wisdom itself, to meditate on it. Then it's like there is a kind of the mindfulness is not like necessarily, because it's like you meditate on mindfulness itself, then it's meditated, what you are meditating merged in this, there's no dualistic kind of patch or like kind of the mix, there's nothing. This is, there is the crucial point, deviation of the Hinayana and the Mahayanas. And like this statement. And then it's like they realized the state of the Samantha by the abandoning obstacle and cultivating factor conductive. And it's of course it's like in order to making the manifestation is really to profundity of the samadhi and the to how do you say vipassanam. And then it's like of course need to all the obstacles necessarily to abandon. And also it is like a kind of cultivate factor of the conductive to the samadhi, like every moment meditate like kind of hours. Sometimes like Shavaka Pachika Buddhas, they meditate Shavakas. Sometimes it's monthly, they don't move. And make a joke, there's in Nepal, there is a Romboy, I think they call the second one. He's 6 months, is like 3 years or 6 months, he don't need drink, don't need to eat anything. Sometimes you have profundity of the samantha, and then you don't need to eat. It's this sort of, sometimes, of course, very rare. And like this, that time is and you develop like this, how much you develop. Then it's meditating for 24 hours. It doesn't move, only the meditation. And sometimes, of course, necessary vipassana means you understand clearly what you are meditating. For example, if I'm meditating in these mandalas, and just thinking of the mandala is not really meditation. But my wisdoms in the mandala, on the mandala, is existent, not existent, it's what it is. Really, the like a main crucial point, the meaning of the mandalas and the wisdoms to have clearly discriminated. That is the spatial seeing inside a band. They called, they, how to say, the vipassana set. And like this, then is that this, in order to the cultivate and like samadhis, then it's like coding the 9 stage of the resting the mind. And this one is like, do you have this list? If you have a list, it's very good. Maybe you can to give each other, maybe we can to remind and each other. Okay, yeah, it's the same hours. Maybe I want to stop just half an hour. Yes, okay.